Well, hello, I'm wearing my Elma FUD hat, which means that I'm doing a Glass Bullet Pictures location report. So what do we do in these location reports? Well, basically we visit locations which have been used in previous Glass Bullet Pictures productions and give you an idea of what we used them for and what kind of technology we brought to that location to make it possible. We're also going to be visiting new locations which we're also going to be using in our future productions. Now, if filmmakers are watching this, you are of course very interested in locations, as are we, but we very much pride ourselves on getting some really exciting, innovative locations into our work. So there may be some locations which for security reasons we can't actually reveal to you. So just to let you know, some of the locations we will reveal, but other locations we'll have to keep deadly secret until the very point where the film comes out. Well, here we are once again visiting a former location as used in the movies produced by Glass Bullet Pictures, and hopefully it's also a location which we'll use in future movies. We're in the Weems Caves in East Weems. We used these in Legend of Black Diamond and also in the Prey Specimen Red. It's a fantastic location, and we're actually only in one of the caves at the moment. So if you think about caves, they've just got so many applications in terms of particularly fiction movies. First came across this location, actually introduced to me by a friend of mine, Faruqi Masquati, and when we were actually producing his film, East Fife Crusoe, back in I think it was 2009, 2010, with the film having a kind of Robinson Crusoe theme. The ability to actually film the character in a cave and have interaction between him and the various characters in a cave setting was absolutely fantastic. So moving on to Legend, one of the key things we had to do in Legend was actually to create Black Diamond's mine complex. And we did this through a number of, I think, quite clever methods. For part of the cave complex, we actually used an old railway line and a tunnel and a quarry at King Lassie, which is a location which I've actually visited on previous locations in these video reports. So that was part of the complex. The other part of the complex was we actually filmed in a recreation of a real mine in the Mining Museum in Dalkeith. That was the second element, and then the other element was basically all these wonderful caves down here at East Weems. So many people watching the film have assumed that the location was in the one place. It wasn't. It was spread across 3 different locations. Some people have also asked me if Black Diamond's mining complex was actually done through CGI. Well, the answer to that is no. It was all done. It was all done for real. The next occasion in which we used the caves was in the Prey Specimen Red. Now, a key plot element of the Prey Specimen Red is a character called Lord Clydesdale, who originally discovers the time liquidizer, which is a time machine, while he is an archaeologist working in Egypt in the 19th century. So for that particular scene, we wanted to give the impression of Lord Clydesdale actually travelling through a tomb. We used the actor Jeff Fallow, who we'd also used in Legend. He played the doll maker. Jeff very kindly brought his whole kind of 19th century Victorian explorer costume with him. And one element I managed to do, we actually managed to create a real fire torch or firebrand. So in the scene you actually see Lord Clydesdale actually moving through the tomb complex, and he's got a really kind of cool firebrand which he's basically using to light his way. But we did all that in here. We had the character moving through the caves, and the flicker from his torch was quite fantastic. And the actual scene where he actually discovers the time liquidizer, we actually did in the space which we're standing in just now. So made use of this location for East Fife Crusoe, for Legend of Black Diamond, and also the Prey Specimen Red. Now our next 2 movies, which is Cadaphaman, which is a kind of modern take on Frankenstein, and also The Priesthood, which is a kind of horror mystery movie. For both those films, I certainly at this stage envisage scenes where people have to meet in secret, or we'll come across strange ceremonies taking place, or characters get captured and put into a dungeon. A lot of possibilities in terms of this particular location. So turning to tech, again we're filming today's scene on our Canon XF100. I'm using the Sennheiser wireless mic system, but probably the key component to enable this filming to take place is actually an LED battery powered light. We have a few of these. There's quite a number on the market. You can obtain quite expensive ones which tend to have a slightly better build quality. The ones we are using are slightly cheaper, and we basically can take the view, you know, if we lose one of these lights, because they're quite low cost, we can just replace them. But we find the actual illumination from both the expensive ones and the cheaper ones is very much the same. It's really just the build quality that basically equates to the price. Now, one of the challenges of filming in areas with no electrical power is how do you effectively light a very dark background? Well, the first thing I would say is, in terms of no electrical power, there are ways and means of obtaining electrical power. I mean, one system that we've used in the past is to actually hire a generator. And certainly if you did hire a generator, an environment like this could certainly be lit via a kind of 3-point lighting setup, and you can certainly get lights of a wattage of 800 watts plus into the environment. So you can certainly do a lot with that kind of capacity. It would mean though, if you're doing dialogue scenes, these generators are incredibly noisy, so you probably have to kind of post dub or even do scenes that don't require dialogue. We didn't use a generator on the films that I previously mentioned. What I'd probably say there is, in terms of filming, I'd probably say that all the shots were pretty close. So usually it was a handheld camera with the light mounted on top of the camera, and the camera operator was usually very close to the action, which meant the illumination was actually very good. Also, in the scenes that we filmed, the characters would tend to have battery operated torches, or in the scene I was talking about involving Lord Clydesdale from the Prey Specimen Red, we were actually getting quite a lot of illumination off the firebrand which he had. But generally speaking, you don't want to be filming in an environment like this and have the camera too far away. You really need to be up close to where the action is happening, because although these lights are good, they only have a kind of limited capacity in terms of distance. I hope you've enjoyed this location report, and I look forward to doing other ones for you in the future.